Hey guys, today I'm talking about two very different movies, and I'm going to talk about the least well-known one, basically, and you'll get why. Memoir of a Snail is a movie directed by Adam Elliott, who is a brilliant, very brilliant animator. He has done Mary and Max and another movie whose name I'm missing right now, but he is a very prolific animation you know director. He's very good in stop motion, and his screenplays, because of obviously he does write his movies are always very sentimental, very raw, very sad in a way, but also very hopeful at the same time. It's very interesting how he uses basically depression and sadness in order to explore the life of a person, and how someone can like overcome very tragic circumstances. Even in this movie it's the same. It's about a little girl who has a brother. They're basically twins, and she just tells us her life story, and her life story is very tragic. I mean, her mother basically dies at childbirth. Her father has many physical ailments. In her life, she's not able to do what she wants to do because she feels less than others, because she was born with I think it's a cleft palate, the lip that looks like a bunny. They say, the little children, and they mock her, saying she has a bunny lip, and she always has that on her life. But she has her brother who defends her, but then later in life they are separated, and it's very tragic and very sad. But at the same time it's so effective because maybe we haven't gone through everything that she has gone through, but there are so many things in her life, in the way that she goes through life, basically, that we can really take something out of. Basically, I mean, she doesn't have a lot of friends, and when she finally makes friends, her friends are not exactly the typical friends, but they are her friends, and that's kind of beautiful. I mean, all the structure of the movie is really gorgeous. The intro of the movie is very smart. The way they tell the story, I mean, it's a gorgeous film, and it's a beautiful screenplay, and in a fair world, to be honest, I think this would be for sure a nominee for best original screenplay, like by far. It's so much better than so many other movies, but sadly, animation doesn't get the respect it deserves. And this movie, besides that, this movie is actually Australian. So of course, animation not from the US, it's even harder. I mean, even now, when a movie called Flow, that I think it's from Estonia or Latvia or something like that, it's winning a lot of awards. Even that is happening, but it's a rarity. It's not like a common thing. Normally it's like Pixar or DreamWorks or something like that that wins everything. And even if it's not one of the big studios, it's one of the smaller studios, or a European film. It's very rare for Africa or Asia or other parts of the world to actually be noticed in the animation space. So it's really beautiful that Mary and Max, sorry, Mary Max was the other movie, Memoir of a Snail, and Adam Elliott's filmography is noticed at all, and it's celebrated in the animation space. I think it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. I mean, it's one of those movies that makes you think, and makes you feel a lot when it's happening, and even by the end you're like satisfied with what you saw, because even if it was tragic, it's like it like completes you. It like makes you feel so many things, and I think that's the beauty of well-made cinema, that it makes you feel a lot of things, and think. And I think that's gorgeous about movies. When a movie does that, you have it all. Like, that's the thing, basically. So the other movie, as you can see from the title, that I saw was Wicked. Of course, Wicked is the polar opposite of Memoir of a Snail, basically because Memoir of a Snail is an independent, very niche animated movie from Australia. And Wicked is a box office hit from one of the biggest studios ever, which is Universal, from the United States, with really well known people. Like, of course, there's Ariana Grande, and there's Cynthia Erivo, and John M. Chu, who directed Crazy Rich Asians, directs this one too, and so many other stars and people involved in the movie. So of course it's very different from a memoir of a snail. And of course, as we all know, Wicked tells the story of the Wicked Witch of the West, but told in a different light. This movie is based on a book, which was then made into a musical. And this movie is actually more based on the musical than the book, to be honest. But the the original source story was actually from The Wizard of Oz, which is actually a book that was turned into a movie in the 40s, and that many people in the United States grow with that movie and that book. The Wizard of Oz is like a huge thing in the US and in English speaking countries in general. Maybe you don't know this if you're not from a country that does not speak English, but The Wizard of Oz is not really that huge in other countries. I mean, maybe in countries like France or something, they have a huge literary, culture. So maybe they do, and some countries in Latin America also have that. But I don't think that most people in my country, Colombia, are going to know what the Wizard of Oz is, to be honest. And if they know that, they don't really know about Wicked the musical or the book, to be honest. So I went into this not knowing a lot. I mean, I saw The Wizard of Oz, the movie, like 20 years ago, to be honest. A long time ago, I saw it, not 20 years ago, like maybe 10 years ago. I was in college, and I was like, okay, this is like one of those big movies in history, so I should watch that. So I did, and yeah, I mean, it's a fine, cute family movie from the 40s, which with Judy Garland, who was this amazing artist, not only actress but artist in the full extent of the word. And it's a gorgeous Technicolor, fantasy film basically. So I was expecting kind of like that, and Wicked is that. I mean, it's the story of the witch, and of course we know she's evil. But in the book, in the musical, they basically tell us like the backstory, which is that she wasn't always evil, and there's a reason for her wickedness, basically. People are not going to like this, and I'm a gay man. I'm supposed, I guess, to love musicals or some shit. I'm not really the hugest fan of musicals in general. I don't care if they're comedy musicals or whatever musicals. I don't really live for musicals. I've loved Hairspray. I love Chicago. I think it's the best musical ever. I did watch Cabaret, and I know it's a very good and revered musical. Although the movie, I don't know if it's the best movie ever, but it has a lot going on for it, and the story is actually very compelling. There are so many musicals that are really, really good. However, it's difficult for me to enter a musical because when they sing, you kind of sometimes get into the music a little bit too much, and you don't really listen to what they are saying, which is the story. They're telling you the story basically. So they start right away singing, and it's very interesting how the movie is structured, how it's told, especially from that intro. The intro is very interesting. But then I think that the problem this movie has, and yes, I do think there is a problem in the movie, it's the screenplay. The screenplay, I don't know if the musical is like that, but the screenplay doesn't care much about letting us know who these people actually are. Yes, they tell us the story of the witch, but they tell the story from the point of view of the other witch, of the one that is good. So we don't know if that story is even true, but they tell us the story. So we have to believe it, apparently. And then everything that happens in the school happens a little bit too fast. I mean, they are enemies right away just because, I guess. And then they become friends in 2 seconds. And it's like, what? I mean, how much time has passed? Like, I don't really have a notion of time in these movies. It all seems to happen in like 2 days, 3 days maybe. So it doesn't really handle time in a proper way. I think it's a little bit messy there, and the characters seem to do things that don't really make sense. I mean, their relationship, the main relationship between these two women, is a little bit too rushed, to be honest. So at the end, well, I mean, I'm going to spoil it for you because the movie was released like, I don't know, like 2 months ago. But at the end, they are supposed to separate again because, the Wicked Witch of the West is created. Basically, she takes a stand against the wizard, and sure, that is fine. But her friend is basically turns on her like in a second again, and it's like, okay, are you friends? Are you not friends? Like, what is going on? It's not, it doesn't make you get involved into the it. I mean, I was never really like interested in their relationship because it felt so flimsy. And it happens the same thing with all the characters, to be honest. You don't really get involved with any of them. The wizard doesn't seem that powerful in any moment. So by the end of the movie, when you actually know that this guy is just no one, basically, he's nothing special, you're like, oh, I knew that. Like, it's obvious that he wasn't special because you didn't really build him up to be anything. And it's the same with the director or whatever she is from the school, Madame Morrible, whose name is just stupid. Like, she's a horrible person because of her name. It's not like a surprise at the end of the movie. So she's not really built really well, and the casting on that character is not really that good because, I mean, I do love Michelle Yeoh. She's a fantastic actress, but she's a fantastic actress. She's not a fantastic singer. She's not a great singer at all, but whatever. um yeah, I don't think the characters and the screenplay and the time and the structure of the movie make a lot of sense. Are the numbers, is the music fun? For sure. I mean, there are many songs, not all songs. I mean, again, I'm not a musical person, but I can accept that the movie is really well done. The production design is beautiful. The costume design is amazing. I really do like. I mean, I was always thinking about the makeup, the green makeup. I'm like, what kind of makeup is that? That it really holds. Like, it looks beautiful. Every part of the movie. The visual effects are fine. I mean, they're not great, to be honest, but they're fine. And there's like subtext in the movie about like this, authoritarian regime being installed that wants to remove animals because in this world animals talk and have a culture. They're being removed from the world basically, and people are just accepting it. And it's the most interesting part of the movie, and it's really not that much, it's not really discussed at all. You see it like at the start of the movie with a scene in the classroom, and then there's another scene in the classroom, and then it's the excuse for her to become wicked. But they don't show anything. They don't really make us feel that it's actually an authoritarian regime underneath, even. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Again, it doesn't really make any sense, and they don't explore it. It's the most interesting part that they don't explore it. And many people are going to say, well, there's going to be a part two, and in the part two there's going to be a lot of of that. She goes, I mean, I kind of know what happens in part two, but you have to establish that in the first part. You cannot just say, oh, we'll deal with it in the second. No, 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 no. You have to do it now because then it doesn't make any sense. So I was bothered by that, but by the fact, I think they really thought from the start, oh, we're going to do two parts, so let's not worry about cramming everything into the first one. And I kind of agree that you cannot cram everything into a single movie because it makes the second one not really that special, and it makes it difficult to follow the first one. But I think you have to know what's more important and what's more interesting. I wasn't really interested in all the high school drama. I hate high school movies, to be honest. I hated them when I was a teen, and I hate them now. I mean, maybe like Mean Girls is a fun movie because it's really smartly done, but this is not the case here, to be honest. I don't care for this school or the people in the school. Like, who cares? I mean, the friends that Glinda has in the school, I could have, I would have done away with those characters, to be honest. I think Glinda could have been annoying as hell without them. I mean, and they were not really particularly great actors, the woman and the guy that are with her. I didn't like that. I thought it was so cringy every time they did faces or said things. I'm like, we know they hate this green bitch. Like, we know. Like, find another way to show and I know it's the musical and I know it's the book, but try to find some type of way that makes it a little bit more interesting, because it doesn't feel like a high school movie, and high school movies are not really well known for having like interesting screenplays or stories, and that's what this movie lacks. I mean, the movie is very, very, very well done. It has a lot going on for it. It has a fantastic performance by Cynthia Erivo, who has a fantastic voice and who really has a mastering over her body, basically. She's a really great actress, and I really enjoyed her work here. Ariana Grande, to be honest, I did see. I forget the name, but I saw her back in the day when she did Nickelodeon, and she had a show. I think she was in a show in Nickelodeon, and I remember her acting, and her acting in this movie is very much like that. So I don't think it's particularly special. I wouldn't go crazy for her, to be honest. She's a great singer. Of course, she's a great singer, but what I saw from Ariana Grande in this movie is exactly what I expected from her, and I always want more. I always want actors and movies to surprise me. And as I said for Memoir of a Snail, I love movies that make me think and that make me feel. This movie didn't make me feel anything in particular, to be honest, and it certainly didn't make me think after I saw it. It's not a movie that remains with you. Maybe if you're a musical fan, maybe if you love Ariana Grande, maybe in some many other ways, but I didn't. I don't think I don't want to watch it again. Maybe if I watch it again, I would like it more, but I don't really want to, and I'm not really looking forward part two. Maybe if it completes the story and makes it feel a little bit more cohesive, maybe I would like part one then better because of part two, because it really functions as a couple. But that's kind of cheating, I think, in movies. Like, if you have Alien and Aliens, they are both fantastic movies that work great together, but they are fantastic on their own. I don't know if Wicked works the same way, basically. So, yeah, I mean, again, it was fine. I enjoyed it. It was long as hell. I think this movie is way too long, but whatever. But it was a fine movie. It's certainly fun. But it's not the best musical ever made. Like, I don't think it's even top five, to be honest. But, what do I know? Thank you so much for watching this video, and sorry, I guess, and thank you so much. Bye.